Hi everybody and welcome back to Lila's Literature. So today we're going to be chatting with a writer who has stirred up quite a lot of controversy about a new book, which has a very similar storyline to Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet.
Thanks for having me. I've been dealing with quite a bit of backlash.
There are some similar themes.
I'd argue my story is more of a transformation. It was influenced by Shakespeare's version, but I changed the context to fit more with today.
So it follows the Romeo and Juliet story arc, but what does that actually involve?
Well, the main themes of the classic play are falling in love, the barriers to love, and the repercussions that come with the conflicting relationships. And transformations echo these themes, but with a different change of context, like my book.
And that's what we're here to discuss today. Why does Romeo and Juliet have an enduring appeal? Transformations include barriers of love, introducing themes that correlate with Shakespeare's original. And it's these themes that make the play and transformation so relatable and relevant today. For example, impulsivity, conflict, and rebellion. The impulsivity of love is reflected in how fast-paced the love story goes and how decisions become quite hasty. And in the transformations, you notice a similar feature. This story is so relevant today because we all experience feelings of love and make impulsive decisions due to pressures or feelings. I think this is demonstrated perfectly in Lord Capulet's opinion on Juliet's wedding. Originally he says, "My child is yet a stranger in the world. She hath not seen the change of 14 years. But as the blood feud put pressure on Capulet, he has an impulsive change of heart and rushes to the marriage. Our Thursday let it be. Our Thursday tell her she should be married to this noble earl."
Rebellion also adds to the relevance, like Juliet demonstrating her rebellious attitude through her actions within the play. She defies the stereotype of a 13-year-old girl at that time, wanting the right to choose her own husband. Her rebellious side shows when Lady Capulet declares that she'll be married to Paris on the coming Thursday. "He shall not make thee a joyful bride. I pray you tell my lord and father, Madame, I will not marry."
And that's very unexpected for someone of her day.
Very. This theme is really common in books today. Like impulsivity, rebellion is something we all experience and relate to.
What about conflict?
Well, we all face conflicts in our lives, particularly in the form of relationships. The addition of conflict adds to the relatability of the story and allows the author to comment on conflict like Shakespeare did in the original, regarding the Montague and Capulet feud. Here is much to do with hate, but more with love. Why then, O boiling love, O loving hate? Shakespeare uses Romeo's voice to say that hate is really the love for your side of the conflict, rather than the hatred of the opposition.
It just amazes me that Shakespeare's commentary still holds value in its conflicts today.
So it's these themes that make the story arc so relatable, adding to the appeal of the story.
Why do we love Shakespeare's version so much?
Well, it's unique in the way that its telling is relevant for everyone, rather than its transformations, which have been adapted for certain contexts.
And I think that while transformations often integrate these timeless themes, characters, and overall storyline, they wouldn't last like Romeo and Juliet have.
The way he refers to the death of Romeo and Juliet but gives no further detail is special, as it hooks the reader in, whose misadventured piteous overthrows forth with their death bury their parents' strife. This is referring to Romeo and Juliet's deaths, which is used in the prologue before the story even unfolds. Shakespeare did this to very effectively entice the audience, wondering how the story ended that way.
Romeo and Juliet's death is something so iconic and well known that most people already know that's going to happen before even watching the play, and this is the same enticing effect as the prologue. This idea emphasizes that Shakespeare's telling of the story is the best, because the most pivotal event of the story is so famous that it becomes a major moment in playwriting history and outlives any other transformation.